Hello students, welcome back to the chapter Skeletal System and Nervous System. So in the last class of this chapter, we studied about what is meant by skeletal system, that is skeleton, and we also studied different parts of the human skeleton. So we saw about the skull, the rib cage, the hind limbs and the forelimbs too. So in today's class, we will discuss about joints and muscles. So first let us see joints. So what is meant by joints? Any connection between two bones, that it is nothing but the joints. So we can see the joint, for example, joint. It is a joint, right? So two bones connecting at one point, that will be considered as joint. Okay. Now in the human body, the total joints can be divided into two types. One is immovable joints, another one is movable joints. So immovable joint, that means by the name itself we can say immovable, that means which cannot be moved. So further about regarding this we will study with example by seeing the structure also. Again immovable joints means the joints which can be moved, okay, the way we want. So in movable joints we can see four different types of joints again, that is hinge joint, pivot joint, ball and socket joint and gliding joint. So totally the joints will be classified into two types, that is immovable and movable joints. In immovable joints there are no classification further, but in movable joints you can find still more four types, that is hinge joint, pivot joint, ball and socket joint and gliding joint. So we will see with the structures and the names of those joints also in the sliding clip. So moving on further, after joints we will see about cartilage. So cartilage. Now just for the brief, what is cartilage? It is an elastic substance. What is cartilage? It is an elastic substance. Now where is this cartilage present and what is its function? We will see now later in the next clip. So next, after cartilage we will also discuss about muscles. So first of all let us know what is meant by muscles. Muscle means these are the made up of elastic tissues which helps for movement. So muscles, they are the substance, they are the things which are also made up of elastic tissues which help for the movement of our body. So again in muscles we can find the two types. One is voluntary muscles, another one is involuntary muscles. So involuntary muscles we can find one more type, that is the skeletal muscle. Okay, whereas in involuntary muscles we can see again two types, that is smooth muscles and cardiac muscles. Okay, so joints will be divided into two, movable and immovable. Again in immovable, hinge joint, pivot joint, ball and socket joint and gliding joint. Next we shall read about cartilage, and after cartilage again we will go for the muscles. In muscles we will read about two types of muscles, that is voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. In voluntary muscle we can see the one type of voluntary muscle, that is skeletal muscle, whereas involuntary muscles they will be of two types, that is smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. Now you have to look and listen carefully each and every point, and you have to note it down in your explanation book. So listen carefully and note down all the points, understand the concept well.
Joints. A joint is the meeting point of two or more bones. These are held together by strong elastic tissues called ligaments. There are several joints in the human body. There are two types of joints: immovable joints, movable joints. Immovable joints. The bones that form an immovable joint are fused in such a way that they cannot move. The bones of the skull and the face fall in this category. Movable joints. There are four types of movable joints: the pivot joint, the ball and socket joint, the hinge joint, the gliding joint, The pivot joint. This type of joint is located between the skull and the first two vertebrae of the spine. This joint enables us to move our head upward or downward or sideways. The ball and socket joint. This type of joint allows movement in all directions. In this, a ball-like end of one bone fits in a corresponding spherical cavity of another bone. Our hip joints and shoulder joints are of the ball and socket kind. It is this type of joint of the shoulders that allows us to swing our arm in a round and round action, just as we do an overarm bowling action in cricket. The hinge joint. This joint works much like a hinge of a door or a window. The bones at this joint can move only in one direction. The joints of the elbows, knees, and in the fingers and toes are the examples of hinge joint. The gliding joint. The gliding joint allows a set of complex movements. The joints in the ankles, wrists, and the joints between most of the vertebrae are gliding joints. Cartilage. It covers the ends of the bones and provides a protective layer so the bones don't rub against each other. Synovial fluid. It fills the space inside the joint.
It also protects the bones. Without cartilage, the bones would rub against each other and wear out. Some organs, such as the nose and ears, have cartilage too. Muscles. Muscles are tissues that cover the bones. They are attached to the bones with the help of special tissue called tendons. Both muscles and bones work together to make movement possible. They also help in important processes such as digestion. There are 3 types of muscles in our body. Skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles help in movement. Muscles in the arms are examples of skeletal muscles. These are the only type of muscle we can control directly. That is, if we want to move our arm, we can control when and how we do it. Cardiac muscles. Muscles in the heart are examples of cardiac muscles. We do not have any control over this type of muscles. They work automatically. Smooth muscles. Muscles in the digestive system are examples of smooth muscles. We do not have any control over this type of muscle either.
Alright students, that was about today's class. So in the next class we shall move forward for the nervous system. So in today's class we have ended our chapter with skeletal system. In the next class we shall go for the nervous system. Thank you.